This is Irontrader, and this is the last call of the day. So we'll take a look here at Bitcoin, at gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas. And we'll take a look here at the old indexes, the Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq. At the end of the video, the support and resistance levels are posted for crude and natural gas, along with the EIA report for natural gas. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy any stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Okay, here we have Bitcoin daily chart. Now you can see here what we got going. We have another lower low, but we have a higher high, but we have a totally engulfing candle. That's not good. Okay, so let's look at the downside here first. We're looking at today's low. That's at 112,275 level. Okay, so what we want to watch is right here at the top of this candle, 111,220. Okay, that's going to be your next support level. Coming to the top of that candle, 110,265. Top 109,685. Look at the bottom, 108,625. Come to the bottom, 107,840, and then we'll come to the bottom, 107,860. Then we'll be looking for a 100-day here at that 105,173 level. Now, here on the upside, we're watching that 50-day. You have to get back above it. Okay, 113,697 now. Okay, now again, we can get above that. We'll come to yesterday's high, 114,640. Today's high, 115.30 level. Then we'll come right to the bottom of that candle at 116,295. Then we're going to be looking here for this 21-day at 117,205 and that 8-day at 117,216. Now, 6 o'clock, those futures open. This 8-day is going to cross over that 21-day, and that's going to provide very, very strong resistance on the upside here for the old Bitcoin. Okay, so it's going to take something really, really dramatic to blast through that. This is not going to be easier if it does run all the way on up. Okay, now we got a series here of lower highs and lower lows, and that's never good. There's nothing bullish about that. Okay, now negative divergence, double top situation, going lower. Okay, just that quick, just like that. So what we got here going on is just watch that 50-day on the upside. Very, very key. If we can get above all that, then your big target's 21-day and 8-day. Now, on the downside, if we start losing the tops of these candles and the bottom of these candles, we're going to head right here for this 100-day at 105,173. We look at the RSI, man, you're only sitting at 42. There's no way this is oversold here yet. That could go way on down. Same way with the MACD. The green cross over your head shows momentum to the downside. This is looking like it wants to go lower. All right, so I just might jump into the BITI. I got to see how this is all going to shake out. So I'll be trading against today's candle. I'm going to see how it closes at the end of the day. Now, remember, Powell's making his speech tomorrow on Friday. I believe it starts at 10 o'clock. And that's going to be a huge market mover in one direction or the other. Now, I can see the Dow's down about $1.60, S&P's down 26, and the Nasdaq is down 94. Now, this shouldn't be no surprise to you. I've been telling you for at least 4 to 6 weeks here that, when you have these topping situations, and we'll get to the indexes here in a little bit, that it never lasts, okay? And when you get negative divergence, it's going to be coming on down, especially at this time of the year, end of August, September, and that first week or so of October. Never really good for a stock market on the upside, okay? Now, if you're a two-way trader like me, you don't really give a shit, okay? Up, down, it don't make no difference. Now, what we're looking for here is what I say. We're looking to that 50-day. That's going to be very, very crucial. And then we're going to be looking for today's low at that 112,275 level. All right? Now, let's take a look here at gold, and we'll take a look at silver. Here we have gold. Weekly chart, weekly chart. And all stretched out nice. All right. So you can see here we're just pretty much stuck right in this whole situation. The 8-day, the 21-day, and that 50-day all just hanging right around. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to get above that 8-day, 33.85. Got to get above that 21-day, 33.19. Okay. And now again, if you can rally, then we'll be right up there at that 34.03. We'll come on top of that candle, 34.23 level, and then we'll come to the bottom of that candle at that 34.45. Then we want to watch this level here, that 34.51, very, very crucial. And then we want to come to the top of that candle, 34.68. We have 34.76, but this is the candle that we're going to be watching, 35.09. You have to get back above and close above that in order to get to that 35.34. So we had a topping tail. We had a topping tail. See that? double top situation, and then she came right on down, and now we just have this sideways action. On the downside, we want to watch yesterday's low. That's that 33.53. Very, very key. Then we'll come to the bottom of that candle, 33.31, and then the 100-day, 33.27, and retest 3300, which is basically right there. Now, again, we start losing that right to the bottom of that candle, 32.66, and then right there at that 32.50 level. All right. Now we start losing that. We can just come all the way on down until we hit that 200 SMA. But right now we just have sideways action. For me, there's really no trade. We got to see if we can get back above and close above that 50-day, that 8-day, and that 21-day. If we can, then I'll take a jump into the GLD, and we'll take it maybe to the top of that candle, maybe top, and then maybe all the way to there. Now, RSI, we're just pretty much sitting sideways flat action. Same with your MACD. There's really nothing here. This is just like watching paint dry. It's just a sideways action. Okay, let's take a look here now at silver. Here we have silver. Now, silver, look at silver. Okay, we start getting a little juice going here. Okay, so this is that really big time resistant level. So if we look at the top of that candle, 38.87. Okay, so all we have to do is look at the top of there. How many times has it hit it all the way through? Just can't seem to get above it. That's going to be very, very strong resistance. Now you can still see here how we have this rounded top. Okay, high, lower high, and a lower high situation. All right. So for today, we made this high of 38.19. Okay. So what we want to do is go to the left. You got 38.20. Okay. So you came within a penny. Very, very nice. Your next level is going to be right there at the top of the candle, 38.34. Then we'll work yourself up to the top at 38.56. And then we just keep on going, 38.71, 38.78. And then right there is going to be the big boy at that 38.87. Now, we can get above all that. We can come to the bottom of that candle, okay, at that right there at that 39.02, and then we have 39.33, 39.52, 39.66. Then we want to look to the left of the chart here, that 39.57, very, very key, okay, and then 39.91. The reason this is key is because this level never closed above that top of that candle. Okay, so that's it. Now we crack above that 39.91, 40, 42, and 45. We still have this sideways action, and we have like a rounded top situation going. So just be very, very careful. Now on the downside, we're watching that 37.96. There's your 21-day. We're watching that 8-day at 37.98. And then we have your 50-day at 37.54 level. Okay. Now the simple moving averages are going to be very, very critical. Okay. So again, right there. Okay, right there, and this key 50 SMA. Now, if we lose this 50 SMA, then we want to come to the bottom of the candle, 37.24, the bottom, 36.96, and then to the bottom, 36.76, and then we have 36.40, and then we have your retest there at 36.28, which is just the bottom of that candle. Okay, now we start losing that. You're going to come over here to the bottom of this candle here. You're going to get 36.05 level. We can come all the way down here to the bottom there at 35.58. And then we have your 35.32, which is your 100 SMA. But right now, we just have a nice sideways action, and we're back above that 50-day, which is always very, very good. Okay? But let's just see how this all shakes out. So on me, I'm just a little bit patient. I need this to have this run higher than what it is. Okay? So always look to the left, 38.19. And what do we have there? 38.20. Okay, so that's your resistance. So all you do is follow the candles, okay, until we get to the top of there. Okay, very, very easy, very simple. RSI, okay, 52. That could go either way. And the green is below your red, which shows momentum there. You know, not exactly breaking to the upside, sideways action. And that's what we have here. Okay, so just be very, very careful. Let's just see if they can start breaking up. If it starts running up, I'll jump in the SLV, and we'll take that bad boy higher. All right, let's take a look here now at crude oil. All right, here we have the old crude oil. Now, I'm out of my SEO. I got stopped out of there yesterday. And now I am jumped into the UCO there today. Now, it had a bottom there of 22.63. I didn't get that. I'm in at 22.70 level. And it made a high of 23.27. I'm still long. And I'm going to see how this is all going to shake out. Because simple reason I'm staying long is because now we're above that 8-day. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. Now, it could be a fuller like we had here and we had there. But right now, we're holding the green candle, which is good. So we got to see how those futures open. Then we'll be trading against today's candle. That high at 63.67 and that low at 62.52. But what we want to watch is this 8-day, 62.97. That's going to be very, very key. Then we can come to today's low at that 62.52. Yesterday's low, 61.63, and then that price channel at 61.45. Now you can see how we stair step down, but right now we're holding that key level 61.45, which is very good. We lose that, bottom right here, bottom candle, 61.06, 60.55, and then we can hit that bottom of the candle, 60.26, and then we have that 59.74 low. Okay, that's the downside. Now, the upside, what we're really going to be watching is the top of this candle. This is that 64.15 level. That's going to be very, very key because we're all lined up there. And then we have that 100-day at that 64.56. And we've got to see what the reaction is once we get to that 100 SMA. Okay, if we break above it, well, obviously all I got to do is look right next is 65 flat, 21-day, 66.62, 50-day, and then we have your 200-day, 67.56. Very, very easy. Okay, but now we're holding that 8-day, and the 8-day now looks like it's flattened out. Okay, very, very key. Now, the hurricane is going up the coast, and it's raising all kinds of havoc. There's no question about it. However, it never went into the Gulf, so we're going to see if there's more hurricanes that are going to be developed, alongside this. If they go into the Gulf and they shut down the ports and they shut down the platforms, that's going to affect crude and natural gas big time. Okay. Now, as far as crude oil goes, well, it looks like Russia, Putin, and Zelensky met. And then Putin sent some more firepower, I guess, into Ukraine and blew some more stuff up. So, again, any kind of disruption will take crude oil higher like it did here. We had this nice inverse head and shoulders pattern, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. I said we do the flip ski on that. And what do we have? The 200-day, and that's where she went. This was all that war premium. Okay, so just remember, that was all war premium. When that goes away, this is what happens. Okay, that's what happens. Now, are we getting the same thing here? We'll have a positive up. That's why I'm holding the UCO, and I'm going to see if that is maybe going to rally, at least maybe even to this 100-day, or maybe the 21-day, or 50-day, or maybe get to the 200-day, or maybe even to the retest at 70.51. We got to see how that shakes out. RSI, you only said at 44. That's nowhere near. That's overbought or oversold. That could go rally up. And the green is below your red, but we're way on the bottom here. So, again, trade this. That's the key. Let's take a look here now at natural gas. Here we have natural gas. Now, I took a scalp in the UNG today. Okay? Couldn't take it. It held this key level. Now, it got to a low of that 274. What we're watching was at 272. You can see where we put a higher low. We blasted above yesterday's candle, and we went right into that 8-day. Okay? So, the trade is off for me now on UNG. But as I was saying here for the last, week or so of these videos, just remember, okay, natural gas. When I was reading the Farmer's Almanac, you're going to look like it's going to be very cold, very snow. That's going to take natural gas higher. Okay? Remember that. Now, if we can get above this 8-day, that's going to be very key. Your next big target is going to be right there. It's going to be that 297. That is going to be your 21-day. Then we have to see what the reaction is. If we can get above it, we can come to that price channel at that 319 level very, very easily. Okay, we can see that right there. Okay, and if we can get above that, we got the 50-day, the 100-day. Now, if you can get above that 21-day, then I say that 50-day, 100-day, 200-day, those are going to be your big targets. Even though we're down sliding, and we have a down situation pattern going on here with high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high situation, eventually that reverses. It always does. Natural gas isn't going to stay down here for that long, especially this time of the year. You got the hurricane season, but you got that winter coming up here. Your futures contracts, all that stuff is coming up. Okay, so just remember that. So watch that 8-day, very, very key, 2.82 on a closing basis. Let's watch that when the futures are come out there today. But trade against today's candle. That's going to be key. 284, 9 on the top, 274 on the bottom. That's going to be key. So I'll be watching that and maybe even jump back into UNG here and take it over to this 21-day. But I think eventually Natgas here is going to get a grip and it's going to go much higher. Now, remember, down the road, they're going to be doing a lot with this LNG. Now, the EU is going to buy $3 billion or some kind of energy from the United States. And that's not just going to be oil. That's going to be natural gas, LNG. All that kind of stuff is all going to be contributed to it. But again, we're in this downtrend situation. We get above that 8-day, then we can reverse this downtrend and maybe take that bad boy higher. Now, look at where we are here, okay? We have positive divergence. So you have a low, higher low. We have a low, lower low. Okay, that was another signal that told me to take a trade there today. Now, I haven't been trading this. I shouldn't say that. I've been trading it long and short. But again, when I see this divergence, that tells me to get in there, take a nice trade. Now, I'll be watching this again, this 282 level. If that futures at 6 p.m. open up there, I might just jump into UNG and take that bad boy there to that 21 SMA here. Okay, so we got to see now. Remember, UNG trades 24 hours a day. The XLE trades 24 hours a day. The UCO and SCO, all these trade 24 hours a day, which is very, very cool. Okay, so a lot of times what I do is I'll put my orders in, and sometimes they might hit at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I just trade the charts, let the charts tell me when to get in, get out of it. So it makes life a lot easier. Okay, let's take a look here now at the indexes. Here we have the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ. All right, so negative divergence going on here, negative divergence, and negative divergence. All right, so it's going to, a lot of it is going to be hinged on what Powell's going to say tomorrow. I don't think he's going to be caving, but realistically, when you look at these numbers, look at the inflation that's coming into the market here. Remember, tariffs are not instant. They're always a quarter, 2 quarters away, which is 6 months. Okay, before they start kicking in, and he sees that. The last thing you want to do is cut rates and have all that inflation come in there, and you're going to have to raise rates. Okay, so we don't want to do that. Now, when we look at this, at the Dow, you can see here with the negative divergence going on. Now we have that 8-day to deal with. Okay, so 44, 847. We crack above that, we're going to go to that, retest that high at 45,207. So this isn't what you call selling off hard, but we're in that time frame that you got to be very, very careful, right? So you want to watch that 21-day. You want to watch that 50 SMA right there, okay? Then we want to watch this retest at that 43 level, okay? And then the 200-day at the 43.15, and then we want to watch this 42.595. But we'll also have the gap, and we have that fill situation, so that's on the downside. The upside, you have to get back above that 8-day, and then we can possibly retest that 45.207. You crack that, you're probably going to go 45.5. Very, very easy. But just be careful this time period. Now, we had the S&P here. You can see the negative divergence going on. Okay, and now we fell down, and now we're below the 8-day, and we're below this 21-day. So you got to be very, very careful here now. So what we're watching is yesterday's low, 63.43 level, and then we can just follow the candles down. You got 63.10 would come down here, 62.89 it would come down there at that 62.71, and then we have your 50-day, that 62.60, and we have that retest at 62.12 level. But we also have this gap, okay, that you're looking at that 60.59, and then we're looking at that high 60.28 gap fill. Then we have your 100-day and your 200-day hanging around this 59.40 area, okay? So that's what we got there on the downside. But with this negative divergence, and this is nowhere near oversold, this could come way, way down. So just remember, this time of the year, not really good for stocks. Okay, NASDAQ is the same way, okay? So you can see here how we had this nice big top at 21,803. You sucked a lot of people in here, but they're not watching the negative divergence, okay? That's the key. You got to watch that situation. Now, next week is going to be very, very critical because you got NVIDIA's earnings. Now, and I think that's going to set the tone. Like Walmart came up there, and I thought overall they had good numbers. They did miss, though, and the stock is coming off. So again, NVIDIA is a big player, and it's got to really, really show something. But even again, remember, it's not the news that matters. It's the reaction to it. So now we lost the 8-day, lost the 21-day. The 8-day is curling over. So what we're watching is yesterday's low, obviously, because today we have that inside day. So watch that low, okay? That's at 29.05. And then we could come right down here to this 50-day. Then we have that price channel, which is basically the bottom of that candle. But then we have this gap fill, and we have the 100-day, and we have the 200-day sitting all right down there. So this could come off hard. That negative divergence, you're only sitting at 48. This could come way down. This is nowhere near like an oversold situation. Okay, so when we look at oversold on the RSI, this is what we're looking for here. Okay, see, same way on the S&P. See, we're looking at that's what we're looking for. Same way here on the old Dow. That's what we're looking for here for a buying opportunity. But when you get hanging in the middle, don't trust this because when you're negative divergence, don't trust this. This could come way down here, just like we had here, right here. And this is what happens with the market. Okay, so we're all up on time, but I've been telling you this for how many weeks now, that this doesn't last. Okay, it's not going to keep going up forever. Eventually, everything comes down. like a balloon. Eventually it pops. It's going to come right down. The key is watching that 50-day. If then we lose that, then it's going to be all hell's going to break out because she's going to come right on down. So watch all these key 50 days. If them are lost, then we're going to come right down and do some big time retest at even the 100-day and 200 SMA. All right, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here tomorrow morning and we'll do it all over again. Remember, tomorrow is Friday. So make sure that you take profits, use stop losses, okay? Trade the market. That's what you want to do. This is a trading market until it isn't. All right. So when we get like after the first week, second week of October, then you can go long into the end of the year. Okay. That's always a long period. But right now, very, very fickle for the markets. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.